Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a 6-month review on the new car we've got, the D-Max, the Isuzu D-Max. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we came to get the car, why we got the car, why didn't we get another car, and then the things I've done to the car and how it's going the last 6 months or so. So welcome to this. Hope you enjoy some of the content. Leave a message down below, like, don't like, something I could have done different, something I could have done better. Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, let's get into it. It wasn't like I ever really wanted a D-Max. What I wanted was a car. I needed a car that could tow a caravan, that was going to take us off-road, it was going to take us around Australia, was going to take us on a lot of adventures. So it had to be a four-wheel drive, and because of the payload issues, it pretty much had to be a ute. Why the D-Max? It was the only thing I could get. We were in Townsville. We went to Toyota, we went to Ford, we even went to Isuzu in Townsville. No one had any cars that I could get next week, and that was what with time frame we were looking at. We needed the car, we needed it right here, right now. So I went online, I went to, I think, carsales.com.au and let my fingers do the walking, and I found one. So it was advertised at about $50,000, maybe 49 something, I can't remember for sure. It was available from a dealer down south of us. It was Reef City Motors. I spoke to a guy called James there, he was a salesman. And I said, have you got it in stock? Is it ready to go? Can you get it to me in the next few days? And he said, yes, yes, yes. So that was it. The deal was done. Nobody else had another car for weeks or months. So it was kind of a no-brainer on that new car front. So we got the car. Now, why didn't I get a second-hand car? Now, I knew by getting a new car, I was going to have to spend $20,000, $25,000 maybe in modifications. And you might go, well, you know, you can probably pick up a second-hand car with all those modifications already done and save yourself a bit of money. Yes and no. I had a little look at the cars that were available, and there was nothing that really had the spec and the mods that I wanted, and the ones that kind of were very close, it was about as cheap as buying a new car and doing it myself exactly how I wanted it. So I wouldn't have been much better off. So I got the car, got shipped up to Townsville. I needed it in a hurry, and I had to get the modifications done. I had to get them done in a hurry too. So I went to all the four-wheel drive places in Townsville, ARB, 4x4 this, 4x4 that, and they all said, yeah, we can do it, we can do it. You know, I was getting quotes in of between, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, which I knew I was going to be up for. And they said, yeah, we can do it, we can get the parts in. And I said, okay, can you get it done next week? And they went, no, we haven't got the parts here, so I have to get them shipped up from somewhere in Australia, probably Melbourne, Sydney or Brisbane, and we can't book you in for the next 2 or 3 months. And I said, well, that's no good, I actually need to get it done next week. And they went, sorry mate, can't help you. I went onto Facebook, onto the Facebook Townsville page, put a shout out saying, hi, does anyone know a mechanic, a workshop that can do a bunch of work for me ASAP? And someone got back to me and went, yeah, give this guy a call. So I gave Shano a call at SKC 4x4 Fab in Townsville a call. And I said, look mate, I've got this car, I want to get all this stuff done. Can you help me out? And he said, yeah, I can fit you in next week. It might take a little bit longer than, than just next week, but you've got to get the stuff first. So that was the other thing. No one had any stock in Townsville. Once again, on the internet, let my fingers do the walking. I never really set out in my mind going, oh, I really want this bull bar, I really want this canopy, I really want this winch. It was, what can I get next week? And this is what I came up with. So I got online, I ordered the stuff, I got it shipped straight to the workshop. So let's go through the modifications of what I've done and talk a little bit about them. Where possible, I've gone with pretty much the same make, model, type of equipment again as I've had in previous cars. I know what they are, I know how to use them, I know their work. So why change a good thing? I've got the bash plates, 3 bash plates underneath the car, underbody protection. If you're going to go off-road anywhere, you need this stuff, protect underneath of your car. I've gone with custom off-road for these bash plates. There's 2 or 3 Australian manufacturers. Custom off-road, I think they're based around Brisbane somewhere. Really good quality, pretty good prices, and they shipped up to me because they had things in stock. So very happy with that. The bull bar came from Ocam 4x4. They have a few stores around, they have a good online presence. I didn't really care what sort of bull bar I was going to go for. I wanted one because I knew I wanted to mount the winch, I knew I wanted to mount the spotlights, and I wanted to mount the aerial. So the bull bar wasn't to protect us from roos. In my 30 odd years of driving in Australia, I haven't hit an animal yet. It's more for mounting the hardware. If I want to be able to lift the car up, having a bull bar there gives me somewhere to mount off. If I want to be able to winch, I've got to have something to mount it. So the bull bar is there for a multiple of reasons. I went with Ocam because it was in stock and they could get it to me within 1 week. Nobody else had anything, nobody else could get it to me in time. So that was kind of a no-brainer. The winch and spotlights I got from a 4x4 store in Townsville. Once again, it was in stock. It was about the price I was expecting to pay, so I got those. Interestingly enough, the winch and the bull bar are actually a lot lighter than most normal bull bars and most normal winches. Now this came back to bite me a little bit because I thought at the time, great, I've got lighter equipment on the front of the car, that's going to help with my weights, with my axle weights on the front, my overall weights, but it actually came back to bite me a little bit with the suspension setup. It ended up with us having a car that was a little bit too light for the suspension that went in, so we ended up with quite a harsh ride. I mentioned one of the things I wanted the bull bar for was to mount the UHF aerial on, and when we put it on, we fixed it on and it all worked just fine. However, a few thousand k's later, a few hundred kilometers of dirt roads and corrugations, and the nut underneath the bottom of the aerial vibrated loose. And guess what? I had no way to access it underneath it. It was just all sealed in. I don't know how the mechanic got it on in the first place. Maybe it was when he still had things apart, but it was almost impossible to get to. So I ended up taking the aerial off, leaving it there with nothing on, and we just used handheld walkie-talkies for the rest of that time frame. Funnily enough, I had the same problem on the previous car, on the Land Cruiser and the bull bar there. Where they mounted the aerial, it was almost impossible to get underneath to the socket. So the solution this time round is a bonnet mount up near the windscreen. Dead easy to get to. If anything loosens off, I can just get there with a spanner and tighten up. So here's a little tip for you guys out there. If you get an aerial put onto your bull bar, make sure you have a tool that can easily access the nut underneath that holds it on. You don't want to get way out there in the middle of nowhere, it come loose and you can't actually adjust it or tighten it up anymore. Under the bonnet there's not a great deal of work's been done. I have got electrical stuff running power to the canopy, so that's been done there by an auto electrician. I have put in a pre-filter which I've had on I think 4 or 5 cars now, different cars, different pre-filters, but the idea is the same. It basically filters the fuel before it gets to the OEM filter, so it doesn't void your warranty. And if we get any dirty fuel when we're actually traveling Australia, and you know, when you go out back, you don't always know the quality of the fuel, so it keeps it, it's a little bit of insurance to protect the engine. Very expensive job if we get dirty fuel, can bugger up the engine, can be easy $10,000 fix. The other thing I've done this time, which I haven't done before, is I fitted a catch can. I'm not going to go into the pros and cons of catch cans, whether they work, whether they don't work. This time round I had the space there to put it in. It wasn't that much more expensive to buy it as a bundle, so I thought I'd just put it in there. So I'm not, don't have any particularly strong views on catch cans or not. I know that a lot of people do, so let's not go there, guys. No mention in the comments, please, about catch cans, good or bad. I've got one, it's in there. I'm just going to leave it at that. One of the things I also had installed was a transmission cooler. So apparently when you're towing heavy trailers or things behind the car, your automatic transmission can start to heat up. So we got an extra little cooler, little radiator mounted up the front, as just behind the grills, and then in the car I've got a scan gauge that monitors the temperatures and a whole lot of other parameters in the car, so I can actually see what are temperatures of the coolant, the transmission, things like that when we're driving along. So when we're going up hills, for instance, I can see it start to warm up. If it went over a certain number, I would probably pull over, stop and let it cool down. But so far, it's been just very nice, steady temperatures, no surprises there. So we're pretty happy with that. Working your way around the car, I have replaced the tyres. So the standard tyres that came with the car, they were road tyres. They were never going to get us up to Cape York and back. So I changed those. I got onto Facebook, I got onto Marketplace, and I picked a second-hand set of Bridgestone Jewelers up, which I've had for a few cars now. I'm pretty much very happy with those sort of tyres. And once again, it cost me like $500, $700 to get them fitted all up. Better than $2,500 buying new tyres. So they were like, I don't know, they had a few hundred kilometers on them. So that was one of my bargains I picked up. I was doing a lot of this on a budget, remember. I've left the original steel rims on. Once again, they work fine. I'm not too fussed about how they look. At some stage, maybe if I come to change the tyres, I might have a look at getting a second-hand set of rims, make them look better, but that's cosmetic. I'm happy with what I've got at the moment. Suspension. I had suspension replaced at Townsville by Shano, and I knew we needed heavier duty aftermarket suspension to get us up to the Cape York and back. The corrugations, the dirt roads, standard suspension probably, almost definitely wasn't going to last. So I got in early, did that. Now, as I said, the problem there was they were assuming the car was going to be heavier. They were assuming that there was going to be a heavier bull bar, a heavier winch. You know, they was expecting like another 60, 70, 80 kilos on the front of the car. So it made it very harsh. It did its job, but it didn't make it for a comfortable ride. Same on the back. I think they're expecting a heavier canopy, maybe a metal canopy or something, and more weight. So the back was a bit rough as well. So I had to get that fixed when I got back to Sydney eventually. We did about 15,000 Ks with the original aftermarket suspension. Did its job, but it was always a bit of a rough ride. So I took it out to my friends at Ultimate Suspension. They've done 1, 2, 3, I think 4 cars now. This is number 5. I've been really happy with their work, and they put in softer shocks, changed the leaves on the back of the car, and new shocks on there as well. Beautiful now, really soft and comfortable ride. I've also had airbags put in, so I can adjust the preload in the airbags. So when we have the caravan on, I take it up to about 15 or 20 psi. When we're not running with the caravan in the back, I drop it down to about 5 or 10 psi. So that just makes the weights on the car balance out a bit better. So very happy with those. Because we're towing the caravan, we need electric brakes. So I just went with Isuzu's factory kit. Once again, it was in stock. I needed to get it fitted within a few days of getting the car. So the tow bar, once again, it was Isuzu, it was in stock. One of the reasons, funny enough, we ended up with a 2023 model, not the brand new 2024, was a lot of the aftermarket guys for the bull bars, the tow bars and everything, they hadn't made anything yet for the new model. So I had to go with the older model, if only so I could get stuff that would actually fit it. Because remember, I was in a bit of a rush on that. For the canopy, I went with Ocam again. The only reason was they're the ones who had something in stock. No one else had any stock that I could find in Australia. I was ringing around and emailing and messaging people all over the place for a couple of days. Ocam had that one in stock. It was black, and they had it in, I think, Melbourne or Brisbane, and they could get it to me within I think under a week. So once again, I went with what I could get. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think it looks bad. I don't mind having a black canopy on a white car. You know, if it had been a silver canopy or a red canopy, I probably would have still gone with it if that was the only thing available, to be honest. But this is what it is, and I'm pretty happy with what we ended up with. On top of the car, I went with a second-hand set of roof racks. I got them off Marketplace as well. I had to go and buy a new roof tray. I got the same as my previous one because I had some of the fittings available that would fit onto it. So the max tracks go on there, the shovel goes on there. I'm going to be mounting a Starlink Mini up there full-time as well. So that was why that went on there. On the canopy, I went with a King's 180 watt solar panel. Once again, when I needed it, it was the only thing I could find. It was cheap enough, and it's actually putting out on a really good day. I think max is actually like 163 watts. So it's putting out what it you know, what it was designed for and advertised that. So I'm really happy with that. Inside the canopy, I've got some odds and sods. I've got a King's 40-litre fridge. It's currently running as a freezer. It's been running as a freezer now for I think a couple of months. It's getting powered off a 200 amp hour King's lithium battery that I've got behind the fridge. I've got a battery box I made up. It's tied down nice and securely, and once again, it seems to power everything just fine. I've got a Victron MPPT solar controller in there, so I can actually see what the state of charge is, see how much went into the battery. I can monitor it from the phone, and in the car I've got a little wireless temperature receiver. I can see what the temperatures are of the fridge or the freezer. The two drawers I got from BCF. They're just the regular BCF drawers. In there we got a little bit of fishing gear, and I got a bit of recovery gear, some repair stuff, and a jack. So not too much stuff in there. We've been trying to keep the weight down a little bit. When we had the car and caravan weighed in Townsville before we left, we had about, I think, 20 or 30 kilos available for the rear axle weights. Now since then I've taken about 100, 150 kilos out of the back of the car, so I know I've got a lot more there. But interesting, just with the canopy and a few minor things inside, it's very easy to get to overload your car and be over on your weight. So one of the things I have really been careful with over the last year or so with the caravan, the previous car and caravan, was keeping my weights legal and safe. The towing mirrors I've got are from MSA. I think I had a similar set on the Land Cruiser, and might have had clear views on the Pajero Sport before, but having towing mirrors once again is an absolute must. When we've got the caravan on, I can move them out, fold them out, and they give me that extra visibility. Keeps me legal, and it actually keeps me safe. Inside the car, a few minor mods. Once again, I've done the same or similar as the previous cars. I've got the floor mats, fantastic, for a couple $100 or whatever it was. Floor mats in the front keeps everything nice and clean, easy to keep clean as well. I've also got a fire extinguisher on a mount just in front of the driver's seat. That was made by Cap Industries, KAP. I think it's about $60 or $70 for the mount, and very handy to have. Nice and close, nice and handy if I need it. Definitely worth having in a car, I think, no matter where you go. I'm running the ichecktpms system, the tire pressure monitoring system. Once again, I've had this on several cars now. We can see what the tire pressures and temperatures are for all the car tires and the caravan tires. So if anything goes up or down or changes too much out of the parameters I've set, it'll let me know. So very, very useful bit of kit to have. I'm running a GPS unit in the front. Now, where I have that at the moment, I can also interchange that with another mount. So if I'm driving around town or not actually off-road, I'll just put my phone up there and I use that, use Google Maps or similar for navigational purposes. Also have the UHF radio. The one I have is running twin channels, so I can actually monitor channel 40 and channel 18 when we're traveling. So usually we use channel 40 when traveling, for that's what the truck drivers use, and that's what most road users are tending to use. Seat covers are, I think they're made by Black Duck. Once again, I got those secondhand on Marketplace. All in all, I'm really happy with the Isuzu D-Max. We got the base model, the SX, because we didn't need any of the extra stuff that the higher models, higher spec models had. Also, remember, it was available. It was the right price. You know, I knew I was going to spend $20,000 on accessories, so I decided to try and keep the cost of the car down. So I had the money to spend on the other bits and bobs. So really happy with the car. I would recommend it to anyone else. With the modifications we've done, I think just have to bear those things in mind. And that's about it for this video. I hope you liked it. Like and subscribe, comment down below, all of that sort of stuff again, and see you on the next one. Bye for now.